go to retired Colonel Cedric Leighton, our CNN military analyst, and Andrei Soldatov, the Russian investigative journalist whose news site has been blocked in Russia. He's the author of The Compatriots, The Russian Exiles Who Fought Against the Kremlin, and has some new reporting for us tonight about what's going on inside the Kremlin. And I do want to get to that in just a moment. First, though, Colonel Leighton, from the reporting here, you just see from Ben, the brutal fight for Soledar. And as Ben said, the Ukrainian tactic, a key one there in this town, which is of such limited strategic importance, is to kill as many fighters of the Wagner group as possible, right? Talking about one Ukrainian soldier saying that they had captured one member of the Wagner group. He said only 3 members of his 35-member platoon are even still alive. Is this toll for Russia, Colonel, in any scenario worth it to win a town that, when it had people lived in it, because now there's no structures even left, essentially, had only 10,000 people?
Yeah, Aaron, it's, from our standpoint, from a Western viewpoint, we would say that it's absolutely not worth it. You don't put that many soldiers at risk. You don't let that many soldiers die for something that is really nothing, that has been decimated like you described and Ben described. But from the Russian point of view, especially from Putin's point of view, any type of victory is important now. And what he's doing is he is finding a place where he can not only make this stand, but take it over. And that is why Soledar has become so important to Putin. It is a symbolic and, like you said earlier, perhaps Pyrrhic victory. But if he does go through with it, it will be a victory that he can then tout in his propaganda organs. And that's really what he's doing.
Andre, I want to show again that video that I shared just a moment ago with everyone. This is new video of a massive explosion. They see soldiers walking down the street. They go into that building with the green top, and then it explodes. We understand that building was housing Russian troops, perhaps 25 of them, obviously unclear. But they walk in and then it's targeted by the Ukrainians. So, Andre, when you look at that and you see just so much death, one explosion, 25 lives lost, why is Soledar so important to Putin?
Well, it is important not only for Putin, but also for the generals. Remember that the only thing the Russian army has been doing for the last 6 months was losing territory and soldiers for nothing. And the Russian army got a permission to withdraw from Kherson, only promising something on the battlefield, some sort of success, some victory. And that is why the generals were so desperate to get this success in Soledar. And that is why we have this bizarre infighting between the generals and Prigozhin over who is the author of this victory. And of course, these people, they do not think of soldiers' lives.
No, they don't. It is unbelievable to think about it, though. And Colonel, the pressure, this desperate need for any kind of a victory, even though it isn't even a victory at all, is what we heard from Putin today. So he has this meeting with his Minister of Trade and Industry and talking about getting orders for military and civilian aircraft, right? And where are they? Where are they? So I played it a moment ago. He then went on to berate the minister, saying, it's taking too long, much too long. Do we not understand the circumstances we are in? This after he said, why are you fooling around? It was incredible to see that publicly, Colonel, which, certainly may be a sign of his psychological state, but was not by accident or by passion only.
That's right. And Aaron, what he's doing here is he's actually showing the Russian people that he is the strong leader. And this plays fairly well with some of the audiences in Putin's base. And what he's trying to do is show that he is, in fact, in charge. He's the one demanding accountability. He's the one that is telling this junior minister that he needs to step it up and make the aircraft production, in this case, work for him. And that's something that we see. But it's also pointing to one other fact, and that is this, that the Russian industrial base is not keeping up with the demands of this war.
No, not even close, right? And we see with ammunition, right, the 75% jump in their ability to do that. So, Andre, in this context, I want to ask you about your reporting. You point to a Telegram post just the other day where Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia, the current deputy head of the Russian Security Council, says, and you quote him, in time of war, there have always been special rules and quiet groups of impeccably inconspicuous people who effectively enforce them. It sounds ominous, and it is. You say it's an open call for the use of assassins to deal with Russians overseas. Tell us about this.
Yes, this outburst of anger was caused by an interview done by a famous Russian artist, Artur Smolyaninov, and he was very critical of the war. He attacked the war waged by the Kremlin, and that was used as an excuse by Medvedev, and not only by him, but by the members of the Russian parliament, the State Duma, to voice some new measures against people who left the country and who still spoke against the war. And the number of measures are really wide. It's about confiscation of the property, cancelling of a passports, stripping of citizenship, which reminds me of the Soviet Union. And finally, Medvedev, as you said, he openly called for the use of assassins.
Which I know, we hear about Russians, prominent Russians, business people being killed overseas, but you say that this is a step beyond, that this is different.
Yes, because officially the Russian special forces are killing abroad only terrorists. That's we have in the Russian legislation. Now we have Medvedev openly saying that it's fine to kill people who just speak against the Kremlin.
All right. Thank you both very much. I appreciate it. Colonel, your time, and Andrei, your time, and the new reporting you just shared. Thank you.